trade wars, tariff issues, which is affecting global trade generally. And this is going to disrupt global supply chain due to ongoing geopolitical conflicts. One, that is the Ukraine war is not over, and we also know that there is also war in the Middle East. These negative shocks have impacted economic activities and increased the cost of living, underscoring the need for robust and targeted interventions. So as we release this 2025 Economic Survey report, I am pleased to note that Kenya National Bureau of Statistics adheres to the United Nations fundamental principles of official statistics, thus ensuring the highest standard of data quality. Because if the quality of the data is not high enough or is not good enough, then that data would generally be misleading and not helpful at all. And so I'm happy that you have been adhering to the United Nations fundamental principles of official statistics. With technical support from our development partners, notably the World Bank, Office of the National Statistics of the UK, Statistics of Sweden, Italian National Institute of Statistics, and other partners, Kenya National Bureau of Statistics developed frameworks to enhance the quality and reliability of the statistics it produces and which it disseminates. Ladies and gentlemen, it's important to appreciate that the Economic Survey report has been adopted as a basis for measuring the performance of important or critical indicators for key sectors in the fourth medium-term plan, which is covering 2023 to 2027, which is also aligned to the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. The 2025 Economic Survey report focuses on the performance of Kenya's economy in 2024, but besides that, it's also presenting the sectoral trends for the period covering 2020 all the way to 2024 based on detailed socio-economic indicators. The findings of the 2025 Economic Survey report presented today reveal that in 2024, our gross domestic product in nominal terms, as has been explained by Dr. Budo, was 16.2 trillion shillings. This reflected a decelerated growth rate of 4.7% compared to 5.7% in 2023. This slowdown mirrors global trends where the world real GDP reduced from 3.3% in 2023 to 3.2% in 2024. It is worth noting, or it would interest you to note, that IMF has already released in the month of April the economic outlook for 2025, and clearly it's indicating that we are going to even have a slower global growth of about 2.8%, down from 3.2% in 2024. And coming back home, actually, we have revised our growth projection to about 4.8%, even though our projection as a country is that we will have a 5.4 economic growth. But I'll come back to that. The country's annual inflation rate eased from 7.7% in 2023 to 4.5% in 2024, with the lowest inflation, as has been mentioned earlier, recorded in the month of October 2024 at 2.7%. The inflation rate, even though it was lowest at 2.7%, but it was still within the midpoints of between 2.5 and 7.5%. So the inflation rate is projected to remain within the government's target range of 2.5% to 7.5%. And this will be supported by low non-fuel inflation, decreased food and energy prices, and a stable exchange rate. The Kenyan shilling has appreciated significantly against the US dollar, strengthening from an all-time high of 159.69 at the beginning of 2024. We all remember this period, to the end of the year 2024. By December, it was at 129.36 by the end of December 2024, as I first mentioned. On the fiscal front, I don't think I should say much about the monetary side, because that, I think the data is out there, including the reserve ratios and all that. I will just mention something on the fiscal front, where projected revenue is expected to reach about 3.1 trillion during the financial year 2024-2025. We have since revised that down to 3 trillion by about 0.1 trillion. We have revised this because we are looking at the reality and the actual collection, because we are in the month already of May, so we can easily deduce going forward to June based on the 10 months performance of revenue. We can see the total revenue, including a non-tax revenue, will just collect just about 3 trillion shillings by the end of this financial year. And the best performance has come from non-tax revenue. The ordinary revenue has not performed as expected. So to achieve this, the government will continue to explore all source revenue collection from ministries, departments, agencies, and counties, and encourage private investments, including FDIs. So the government will also curb runaway expenditure through fiscal consolidation, adoption of accrual accounting system at both levels of government, and sustained digitization of government processes and services. Again, I want to mention here that if you look at what we have done with the projected expenditure, we have been revising this figure downwards. If you look at the figure, the total expenditure that was approved with the BPS of 2023-24, or 2024 BPS, you'll see a higher figure that came down, has been coming down, and we have revised the total expenditure to just about 4.2 trillion shillings, all the way from above 4.3 trillion. First, the latest cuts on expenditure, we have reduced expenditure with a further 131 billion. This is not to hurt anyone or to punish anybody, but just to be realistic and live within our means. If we don't do something about our runaway debt levels, then we will not be able to manage our debt situation. We have only two choices: either to remain and do business, to have it as business as usual, and find ourselves with no economy at all, or a collapsed economy, or we take action now, live within our means, and make sure that we bring our economy back on track and have a better future for ourselves, our children, and our great-grandchildren. In 2024, a total of 782,000 new jobs were created, that has already been explained, out of which the formal sector only contributed to 78,000 new jobs, while the informal sector, predominantly driven by medium, small, and micro, small, and medium enterprises, accounted for 703,000 new jobs. This therefore underscores the critical role of the informal sector as the primary source of employment and income generation for the majority of Kenyans. But then it also poses a challenge to us that we also need to work on how formal sector can create more employment opportunities. So to meet the MTP4 goal of creating an average of 1.2 million new jobs each year, the government plans to intensify the transformation of the MSME sector. This will be achieved by enhancing the Hustler Fund so as to improve access to affordable credits and undertake targeted interventions to strengthen and formalize MSMEs in order to maximize their potential, enhance productivity, and create sustainable employment opportunities. So looking ahead, ladies and gentlemen, Kenya's economy is projected to exhibit or continue exhibiting resilience and stability in 2025, with growth which will be driven by a robust services sector and enhanced agricultural productivity supported by favorable weather and distribution of subsidized fertilizers and seeds. The beauty, what has saved our economy is the diversification. Our economy is well diversified, and that is why even in the middle of many major shocks, the economy can still demonstrate resilience. And so we are going to continue putting a lot of effort on those sectors, especially the services sector, and that is why we have proposed in our finance bill to give impetus to financial investment in this country, giving incentives for those who want to invest in the financial sector in a big way. If you look at the finance bill that we just presented to Parliament, that is one of our key focus to robustly support that sector to contribute even higher to economic growth. Many economies have grown